Um, Hello, everybody that's online, and our brothers and sisters, and all of you. That's whether you're watching on live YouTube, anywhere in the world. Greetings and welcome to our online sharing. It is my privilege to be here to share with you the 4 missions. But just before we begin, I think even though this is about 4 missions, I do want to talk about what's happening right now, just like what Master Dou Shu is sharing. So this is the image of all the cases, the number of cases on January 24th. And if most of you know, January 24th is actually the one day before the Chinese New Year. And that is the time when everybody is celebrating. And little do we know, we sort of heard about this here at the abode, in Hualien, at the global headquarters of Tzu Chi. We know about this, we heard about this, we knew that there was some epidemic going on, but we were sort of going ahead with our celebration, but at the same time paying close watch to what's going on in the world. But very quickly on the 28th is when the very first time our team convened. And since that day and until today, March 28th, it's been 2 months straight. Every day we have a meeting about what's going on in the world. And so on that day, at the time, it was only mostly focused in China, and there were various countries. Some of them have it because of the travels, as Master Dou Shu talked about, with all the travels and flights, and all the cases, as you can see, you know, as the time lapses by each week, it goes on. But the number of countries and regions are very, very low, keeps low, because most of the cases are happening in China. And then the big tide came when it's the last part of February, when you see the countries and regions jumped by twice the number. And then the confirmed cases began to climb very high. And every week you see the number of countries going up by 50, by 30, by 40s. And then by the end of March, last week, you can see that the numbers are sort of peaking because there's only so many countries in the world. But the confirmed cases are increasing ever so fast, and mortality rate is going up as well. And we can see that just about every country in the world, in all the continents, are now being affected. And I would just like to do a shout out. I know the people here in the United States are not up here because of the time restraint. I hope that you get to see the replay. But it is my most sincere prayer in the first part, going out to China and all the people that are affected. But now the very hardest hit parts are in Europe and also in the States. And in the States, it's mostly in New York. And as a New Yorker for 10 years, for more than 10 years in my life, I deeply feel that feeling of helplessness and the feeling of trying to help but don't know how. And all the things that I can think of is, I give you my most sincere prayer. And every time I see the news of the governor pleading and telling to people that there's going to be more tough time ahead, there's going to be more mortality, there's going to be more confirmed cases before it's going to finally slow down. And then I see the people volunteering to go to the hospitals, to go to send the meals, to send the packages. You know, it sends the warmth to my heart, and I'm kicking myself for not being able to help. But that's exactly that. I'm hoping and I'm praying that we could do this, carry this through together as a group. So now, today's topic we're talking about is, in the ever-changing world, everything is changing. You know, things are moving so fast. But what keeps changing? What keeps these things changing? And as we can tell, all these masks. Can you imagine 2 or 3 months ago, if you were telling people that they need to walk around with masks all the time, and if you're not wearing the mask, then there's something wrong with them? I think that's very difficult to imagine. Imagine 3 months ago, if I were to tell you that you would not be able to find any mask in the world. If you want to purchase, let's say 10,000 masks, or say 1 million masks, before it would be so easy, but now you would not be able to. People are trying to get all the stockpile, the resources, the food and the mask and these materials at home. 3 months ago, it would be impossible. but now it's our reality. And therefore, what keeps changing? The world is changing. 3 months ago, as you know it, is very different from the 3 months ago, the 3 months after the right now that we're facing. So what else is changing? Master Desu talks about the air pollution, because of all the people that were confined at home. So all the air pollutions and the nitrogen oxide, the concentration in the atmosphere is very noticeably in the satellite imaging shown here. And that is something that's changing. But guess what? Now that the China, the virus issue is now slowing down, it's getting much better recuperating. Now these air pollution comes back slowly. So these are constantly changing. All the things that are constantly changing. And what else is changing? And not only that, but our families and friends in Europe, you know, hang in there, okay? It's not easy. And trust me that we have staff here at Hualien. Not only are we praying every day, not only is Master thinking about how to send the relief goods to you guys soon, but we're always looking for ways to find the quickest routes to send you what's needed. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do now. And that's what's happening. So these things, the world is changing all the time. 3 months ago, no one would be able to foresee these things. But at the same time, 3 months later, can we predict what's going to happen in 3 months' time? Will we still be sitting here? Would there be even more online classes, or would there be finally open, back to the normal? When will we be back to normal? No one knows. So 3 months ago, it was like this. 3 months after, it's right now. What happens going to be, how is it going to be 3 months later? No one knows. That's the thing that keeps on changing. So in this ever-changing world, what remains the same? There are very little things that remains the same. Our attitude, our emotions are changing all the time, depending on what's going on around us. But what remains the same? What remains the same as a constant in this changing world? We could see that Tzu Chi's missions didn't change. And we always talked about the 4 missions in Tzu Chi, which is mission of charity, mission of medicine, mission of education, and mission of humanistic culture. These are the 4 missions, regardless of when, the time, and how everything is faring. That's not going to change. You have people working on these 4 missions at the same time, simultaneously, in different parts of the world. That's not changing. What else is not changing? In the mission of charity, we also see that the disaster hasn't changed. Yes, there's a new COVID-19 that's on the block that's disrupting everybody's lives. However, these disasters didn't change. They didn't slow down. These earthquake, fires, or hurricanes, typhoons, or tornadoes, or monsoon, rains, they're not going to stop because we are now busy combating COVID-19. These things don't change. The cycles of these water, earth, fire, water, and wind, these elements, the disruptions, they're not going to change. They're still there. These things don't change. And because these disasters are still there, we must continue to do our work just the same. So our volunteers' effort remain the same. Yes, you're not going to see the huggings right now because we have to keep our social distancing, but that care and love remains the same. So we're talking about the 4 missions, but today we want to talk about these 4 missions redefined. They are more than just these distributions that we're looking at. So what is the mission of charity redefined? This is something that I want to talk about more. Is it used to be about distribution. It used to be about how do I get you the relief items that you need. It used to be about the relief goods. How many of these masks, how many of the instant rice, or how many of these foldable beds, or how many tents can we provide? It used to be about these very hard, cold items that we're giving to the people. That's what people first think of in terms of charity, distribution, relief goods. And it's not even just about helping one or another. That's the mission of charity, but it's not just about that. To redefine this mission of charity, I ask that we can start to think about it's more than the distribution, more than the relief goods, more than just helping one another. It's about caring. You might ask, but Joe, what do you mean by caring? We care. We care about the people in the States, in Europe, and all the other places. But do you really care? I ask myself, At first, when the virus hit China, we were there every day. We were looking at the numbers. We were looking at the mortality rate. We were thinking about how to help them. But I started caring when I started to hear the stories of the people they're trying to help. I began to care more when I know that there are these nurses, that there are these doctors. They came all the way from different cities. All they're trying to do was, they know that Wuhan has fallen to the virus. They know this is the hardest hit place. So they all went in. They left their homes and families behind. They go into the hospitals to help them. I started caring when I know that the last sights of a doctor who died of the virus was actually the other doctor. It wasn't his wife. It wasn't his family. It was the other doctor who cannot do anything because there were just not enough equipment to go around. I started caring when I saw that they were sleeping on the ground because there's no other place. I started caring when I knew that they wear diapers, that they choose not to drink because every time they go to the restroom, they would have to change a complete new the protective gear because once they go into the restroom, that is contaminated. They need a new one. And when every hospital is short of supplies, they began to feel that, okay, I'm gonna wear diapers. I'm not gonna drink anything. I'm gonna be starving. I'm gonna be just parched because I cannot go to the restroom. And then they do not change when they go to sleep because their shift will just begin right next day. And so they don't have to change their protective gear. I started caring when I knew it's not just about some place that were hit. It's not about the numbers or number of people that were affected or the number of people that had died. It's about these individuals. It's about caring. Seeing the news isn't enough, but feeling that that's another person, another person's wife, another person's husband, another father, another son that has died because of their trying to protect the people's lives. And it's about connecting. You know, so many times, the mission of charity isn't just about giving. It's also about connecting to people that you would otherwise not know about. For all the 203 and more than that right now, countries and regions that are affected, we are now connected to them. Every time you put on the mask, you begin to think, is it really the case? Is it really the case that they have these masks? Do they have what we have? Every time, Master to always tell us that you turn on the water, be cherishing that water because there are countries right now, even though you're talking about washing your hands always, but they just don't have water to wash or they don't have clean water to wash. Connecting to other people's lives means you otherwise didn't really know what's going on in that country. You otherwise were not connected to them. It's not about internet speed. It's not about whether you're in generation 4 or generation 5 internet connection. It's about connecting to people's hearts. And it's about hope. It's about charity. It's not just about giving. It's about feeling that you are not alone. I heard this story that it was from China, that as the superintendent of a particular hospital, it was the very first hospital that had reported this, and the superintendent had died, that the wife was only able to see the body being sent away, far, far away because of all the quarantine that was in place, that you are not even able to see the face of your loved one in the very last moment. And the similar stories are happening in Europe too. In Spain, in Italy, we're hearing that elders are dying alone. In the very last moments, they're not able to see their loved ones. Their families are not around there to listen, to hear them, to see them, to wish them, yes, it's okay, mom, I'm gonna be strong. It's okay. The mom is not able to get that confirmation. The children isn't able to say their last farewell. That's what's going on in the world. It's not just COVID-19. It's your lives are split. They are tearing apart right in front of you. And that's what's happening. But what we're doing now is to give hope. What are we doing? For all the people that are being quarantined, Tzu Chi volunteers in China, in other places, they're calling, they're sending the supplies. Just a couple of days ago, there are Tzu Chi volunteers here in Taiwan who know of someone whose daughter was in Great Britain and was in England. And so, you know, the mother is in Taiwan. So after knowing that the daughter was about to come back from England to about to come back to Taiwan, so she knew that air travel is going to take a long time. So she prepared a care package, a package of a lot of masks, a lot of nutritional supplements to the daughter. And guess what? The packages that was sent over never got there. So the daughter was left there without anything. Now she was about to take the flight. She was about to get on the flight, more than 15 hours of flight without mask, without hand sanitizer. She was freaking out. She was very worried. In one day, less than one day, our volunteers from Taiwan hooked up the volunteers in England, and we call and we reassure both the mother and the volunteer to let you know it's okay. We'll get you the necessary things. It's about facing a very, very big challenging, but you don't have to face it alone. That's mission of charity. Things are going to happen. Disasters are going to happen. That's not going to change. But what remains the same is that we will be there with you, that we will be there together. That's hope. That's the strength of connecting. That's the strength of caring. No, you're not facing this alone. You're facing with a lot of people that are praying for you. Every day they're looking for ways to get you more things. That's what mission of charity should be. And that's the mission of charity redefined. So next, we talk about the 4 missions. So that was the mission of charity. It's not only to give distribution or the relief goods. It's about to give hope. It's about connecting. It's about caring. So now next, let's look at the mission of medicine. So what is mission of medicine? The first thing you would think about is you always think about the hospitals that we have built in different parts of Taiwan. Yes, that's absolutely right. The mission of medicine is also about our TIMA, our volunteers that are part of the medical background, and they're able to provide the medical services in times of need. That's also the mission of medicine. But that's what we usually think about. That's usually the things that we think about when we think of the mission of medicine. But it's, how do we redefine it? So we know that the mission of charity is about caring, connecting people that you otherwise would be disconnected, and also caring and also really loving these people and giving them hope. But what is mission of medicine? It's not just about the hospitals. Anywhere, if you have money, you can make and build these hospitals. And it's not just about good doctors. Yes, I know we put a lot of efforts into training these doctors that are filled with humanistic culture, that are understanding. It's not just about treating the disease, but it's about treating the patient. I understand about that, and that's what mission of medicine is about. Yes, but it's more than just that. So it's also not just about curing illnesses. What else is it about? It's about healing. And this word is much bigger than curing. It's about healing. And what is about healing? How do you heal is the key. How do you heal? You heal by caring for others. Throughout the 50 years of Tzu Chi Foundation, we see that a lot of people that are in the midst of something that needed help themselves, when they begin to help other people, when they begin to care for other people, when they're connected to other people, they realize that they are a lot more fortunate than anyone else. They realize that they're in a better place than the people that they're helping. By connecting people, by helping people, by caring for these people, they themselves get healed. The mission of medicine isn't just about hospitals. It's not just about good doctors. It's not just about free clinic. It's also about healing yourself. How? Not with medicine, not with doctors, but by helping others. And the first 2 missions combined, helping others, you are healing yourself. And that's the first 2 parts of the mission. Caring, connecting, healing, helping. You are the one that gets benefit the most. Now, coming back to the 4 missions, now we move on to the 3rd mission, the mission of education. So what is this mission of education? We see the mission of education, raising these future doctors, raising these future talents. We build colleges, universities, and we have all these programs devoted so that people in this education system begin to realize and understand how do you love another person. And that is wonderful, but so redefining the mission of medicine is not just about the schools that we have built. And trust me, we have built many, many schools, not just in Taiwan here, but also across the world. Different disasters, we ended up helping building schools. Okay, so it's not just about the schools, and it's not just about good students either. And it's not just about building the future talents, making sure everybody gets good education. That's all important, but that's not the only parts of the mission of education. What else is important? It's about educating. Not education, but it's about educating. What does that mean? Educating by passing down what you know, by what you have done in the first 2 steps. You connected to people in Europe. You connected to people that you otherwise didn't know about. You begin to care for them. You begin to heal yourself by helping others. Now it's about time to pass down your feelings and education and knowledge. Pass these feelings down to other people and let them know if you need healing, other than the hospitals and the doctors and the medicine, if you need healing, the true healing begins when you help others. That's education. So I myself, through my work as a volunteer, I began to heal myself. I am no longer low self-esteem. I am no longer feeling that I'm deprived because I feel that I can help others, that I feel that I'm a capable member of the society. I have been healed. Now it's time in the mission of education to pass this on to more people that need healing. Let them know that if they are somehow feeling deprived, whether in material or in mentality, spirituality, they could be also healed by helping others. And that's what education is about. It's not just about teaching you all the knowledge there is in the world, but rather passing down this wisdom on how to care, how to connect, and how to heal yourself. So coming back to the 4 missions again, we have talked about the mission of charity being connecting, caring, and also getting everybody together and showing hope. The mission of medicine is about healing yourself through connecting and caring for others. The mission of education is about teaching other people the idea of healing yourself by helping others. Then what's the mission of humanistic culture? What is this about? This mission of humanistic culture, it's the new redefined image. It's all about, okay, this is what we come to know. It's our Dai TV, our publication, our broadcasting, but how is it redefined? It's not just about all these TV stations, and it's not about the dramas and all the programs that we have. It's not about the media, websites, or publications. It's really more about sharing your experience. So it's not just about teaching. The most important part here is teaching others to teach others. And I think this is a very wonderful cycle. First, you do it in the mission of charity. Next, you realize by doing, you are helping yourself and you're healing yourself. Next, in the mission of education, you share this with other people. You tell them, if you need help, start by helping others. And then lastly, you teach that person to teach others. You begin the teacher of teachers. That's what the mission of humanistic culture is. It's about sharing your experience, passing on this knowledge. And then you hope that the people that listen to this will also pass on this knowledge. So that's the 4 missions. It's a very different take on what we used to think the 4 missions are. But it's really more about how do you combine with Dharma? How do you combine with what Master has been talking about? So in my view, the 4 missions, it's a complete cycle. You start by yourself helping others. You realize you're helping yourself the most while you're helping others. and then you share it with other people, that's how you help others, and you share it with other people, you need to do the same to share with more people. And that's our 4 missions. And so for me, I really think that this is a journey. It's a winding road, many, many different curves here and there. But the very first part is connect and care. Know that you have to be connected to other people, and know that we have to care for other people. By doing that, by helping others, you are healing yourself and you're healing others. Next, teach others to heal. Lastly, teach others to teach others how to heal. And very quickly, you will be able to spread this message around on how to heal yourself. And imagine that when this world is filled with people that are able to heal themselves, when this world is filled with people that are willing to teach others on how to heal yourself, when this world is filled with people that are willing to teach others to be the teachers of how to heal yourself, then you are very quickly running out of people that need to be healed. You are very quickly reaching a world where everybody is healed. Why? Because in this world, what remains the same? Disaster is going to come. There are people that are going to be hurt. There are going to be people that need help. So there are always going to be people that need to be prepared to heal one another. So that's why it's a journey. This is a journey that we are on together. It's a journey where we begin all these discoveries. What do we discover? We discover love. We discover that we are really connected together. We discover that, hey, even though you're so far away, we could actually love you. We could actually care about you. Even though I will probably never set foot on this country, I actually care about you. I actually am connected. I have someone in a different country that I've never been to. I probably will not be there. That somebody there I call brother, somebody there I call sister. Yes, you can discover love, you can discover hope, and you can discover each other. They were there all along. You just didn't know about them. Now this world is constantly changing. Technology brings us closer. We begin to discover love, discover hope, because you are not alone, and you begin to discover each other, and you begin to discover yourself, that you have the strength, you have the power to be able to heal yourself and heal others, and share your knowledge with others so that they can heal themselves and heal others. And this journey also is known as the Bodhisattva path. And that's what this path is about. So the 4 missions is an embodiment of the Bodhisattva path. So that's my sharing for today. I am very happy to be able to share with you how I feel the 4 different missions: charity, medicine, education, and humanistic culture. Yes, they sound very dry. Yes, they're very touching, and we did many, many things. But there is an element, spiritual element in there, that I hope that we all can take to mind. The idea of our spirituality, that we're all sharing the same one. So that's my sharing for today. And I hope with that, we have a different idea of what 4 missions are. And always remember, we are connected and you are never alone. So thank you. And I hope that all of you, whoever sees this video, best wishes to all of you in the States, in Europe, in Asia, in all the parts, because COVID now is everywhere. Imagine that. 3 months ago, what would you say is the one thing that combined all of us together? You would probably say climate change problems, but now it's COVID-19. So you never know. Thank you, and I love you all, brothers and sisters.